So my art project is going to be America Today by Thomas Hart Benton. About the artist. Thomas Hart Benton was born in 1889 in Neosho, Missouri. His family consisted of politicians. His father was a congressman and his uncle was a senator. He chose to study art instead of becoming a politician like his family wanted him to. He became a cartoonist in 1906 for the Joplin American. He moved to Chicago in 1907 to enroll in the Art Institute of Chicago. After 2 years at the Art Institute, he moved to Paris to study at Académie Julian. He moved to New York City in 1912. He served in the U.S. Navy during World War I and was stationed in Norfolk, Virginia. In the Navy, he was an architectural draftsman and he painted for the camouflage for them. He gained fame being what is called a regionalist artist, which is about depicting small town America, specifically the Midwest. He appeared on the cover of Time magazine in 1934, and then he married an Italian immigrant named Rita Piacenza in 1912 and stayed married until Benton passed away. So this right here is so I'm gonna go over basically 10 of these murals of the America today. And so this one is the instruments of power that basically shows how much of an influence the Industrial Revolution of the past had made on the progress in the 1920s. I'm just going to give a brief overview of America today, like the entire thing, before going through the rest of them. So, America Today is a room-sized mural of 10 canvas panels. A mural is a painting applied to the surface of a wall or a ceiling. So, you basically had an entire room with these paintings. Benton did it for Alvin Johnson, director of New School for Social Research. He finished it at around 1930. And the interesting thing about it is that he was not offered payment for it, except for the material cost, but he viewed it as an opportunity to make a name for himself in in the art world. America Today is based on his travels. So basically, he traveled throughout the U.S. before he made these paintings. And in the 1920s he was traveling, and 8 of the 10 panels shows life in the different regions of the U.S., being the South, the Midwest, the West, New York. My favorite, which is this one, is the Instruments of Power, which showcases at the time the modern industrial technologies. It's very interesting how a lot of the work shows this because one of them is about the Great Depression, because the Great Depression was in the late 1920s. The common theme for these paintings is basically showing people working very very hard, the type of work at the time, and another thing I've noticed is about progress. Um, Today it is located at the Metropolitan Museum of Art in New York City. So this one right here depicts the changing of the West. So back in the late 1800s, 1800s time period, there's a lot of cowboys and that type of thing. You see them in the upper right, and then you see also the oil boom of the West, and then you can see like an old 1800s town. But obviously, this is the 1920s, so it's very old. Then obviously you see the cowboys, and then this one depicts the Midwest. You can see lumberjacks are clearing a forest and basically woods and everything, and they're planting corn. You can see wheat, see farmers. Uh, yeah. So and you see it looks like a grain mill in the back. So this one is the South, which is basically devoted to cotton. You see a bunch of like cotton workers on there. And then it shows a steamboat, which looks to be loaded up with goods. And you see, the farmers and everything. You see the farmers in the like the with the tractors in the upper left. This right here depicts the steel workers, and from what it looks to me, it's like a very, very hot like place, because I guess it looks like he's depicting the steel factory being like, it generates a lot of heat. And this one depicts a coal mine, and you can see like it must be very, very tiring work. It looks very tired this man is. And you can see he lives like in a very humble, very small town over there. And then this one shows city workers, New York City and everything. They're basically, just working in the city and everything. And this one showcases life in New York City at the time. You can see like the stark differences in how life was, in the city compared to life in the rural areas. You can see like they can, it seems to me like the people in the city had a whole lot more like entertainment. There's more things to do in the city, and you can just see the stark differences between life in the rural areas versus New York City. That's what this is depicting, New York City. And then this again, just city life and everything. He seems to be trying to show like, I guess like there was just New York City was the place to be in the 20s. And this right here basically shows the Great Depression, because the Great Depression hit in the late 20s, and you can see that they're begging for not begging, in a bread line and everything. And this concludes my overview of the America Today by Thomas Hart Benton.